Hi, Jimmy. Welcome to Movie Junk. How are you?
Good, man. Appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. And an honor to have you on today. We have actor, writer, producer Jimmy Barbarise joining us today. Fans of the Amazon Prime hit show, the Gravesend series, have seen your performance. So we've actually interviewed several guests from that show, and we're excited to talk about your upcoming show, Capo Rise to Power, that you co-created, wrote, star. You wear many hats, so really excited to talk about that today. Thank you for joining us.
I appreciate that. I'm excited to talk about all of it. It's an honor being here. Thanks again for having me.
The fan in me wants to just jump right into the Gravesend series and also Capo Rise to Power, but we'd be
Right.
doing our fans a disservice by not, kind of starting from the beginning, because you have sort of a unique journey, right? So you actually, entered the entertainment business a little bit later in life, but I'd love to hear sort of what were some of your early aspirations, and love to, share that with the fans today.
Absolutely. Yeah, sure. We'll do. And it's great that I have the opportunity to share that story. It was instilled in me as an early age to be an actor. So I'm gonna date. I'm gonna show my age here and date people back. There was a spinoff in the '70s to. There was a show called Barney Miller. Not many. I don't know if many people know about it, but there was a spinoff called Fish, and I auditioned for that TV series back in the day when I lived in New York, and I was down to the final two and I lost out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I was a kid, man. I was knee high, like really young, and so it's always been instilled in me. So then my family we moved out to Long Island after that, and I wind up convincing my teacher to do end of the school play for an alternate ending of The Godfather. Now, I was, what, 10 years old, 11 years old, and they were like, The Godfather, what's this guy watching, at that age? So I convinced them and they allowed me to do it. I
Oh,
directed
wow.
it, I casted it, I wrote it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a end of the school year play. It was great. And we got a standing ovation. It was really cool. And my teacher wrote in my yearbook, Jimmy, I can't wait to see you on the big screen one day. One bit of advice: less Godfather and more writing. So, it was, so it's been instilled in me since I was a little kid.
I was gonna say that's a lot of pressure at such a young age, right? Because I'm sure the folks that watched it, right, probably, especially like parents, if they did see it, you're right. So they were all fans of The Godfather, and they're like, what is this interpretation that we're gonna see? But I'm sure it played a big part, sort of like in your like, 'cause that was probably like a big deal for you, right, to do this. So like, I'm sure there was a lot of pressure to make sure that it was good.
Yeah, it really was. And it turned out, for someone that was 10, 11 years old, it was turned out to be really good. And then from there, obviously, so I got into sports after that. So the acting kind of got into the back burner. And so I played football and hockey, all major sports we play up north. I played college football for the Nassau Lions. So that kind of, and then I had a family. I married, had kids, so like life started evolving, but it was always, kind of deep instilled with me to do this one day.
Definitely that. And also too, what really excited me to want to obviously, bring you on the show and kind of learn more of your history because I feel like we have a little bit of a similar background as well too. I've always had a passion for movies. I've always been an aspiring writer. And just from, hearing and learning a little bit more about your story as well too. Like for myself, I actually have some I was trying to be an actor when I was a kid, and I actually have some shots. I'll see if I can still dig them up and send them to you. But I sort of put it on the back burner and focused on my career. And then now later on in life, and I've been wanting to put more pen to paper. And actually, what really inspired me to start this podcast too is, meeting the likes of yourself and sort of hearing the journeys and getting closer into the business. So I'm really excited to hear and see how it's all coming to fruition for you.
Yeah, that's great. So don't if you're passionate, buddy, man, just continue to do it because eventually it'll all I'm proof of that. I mean, it happened for me at a much later time in my life. And unfortunately for me, it happened like a catastrophic event that happened with my family. I lost my brother to cancer about 8 years ago.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, thanks. And we were tight, man. You know, typical Italian brothers.
Yeah.
And he was in hospice. And me and him had this like really catharsis moment. And he's like, you know, I'm in hospice, man. He's like, there's no tomorrow for me. I don't know if I'm going to be here. You got to go chase your dreams. I wish I was in your place. And
Wow.
it just like, it like struck me. So shortly after that, COVID happened and I had time in my hands. My businesses were shut down and I just felt inspired to start writing this script and writing this project. And it took some years to get where we're at now, but that was the inception. That's how it happened.
Definitely, definitely. Well, just to start, I mean, really sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Especially, again, I don't think there's a stronger motivation than obviously the words of your brother. So that hopefully, I mean, it sounds like there's definitely some positives that have come out of that, right? That have
Yeah.
sort of, started the fire to ignite. And also too, with one of your, earlier, probably one of your first roles, right? With the Gravesend series, you joined in season 2, right?
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
season 2, this
Yeah.
is the
I was in
Miami
season
season.
two. Yeah. Yeah. I was on the set there for about 3 weeks in Miami. And then I was on the set for about a week in New York. So, I mean, that was just an amazing dynamic. You're talking, A-list actors across the board. And it was a real huge production, extremely huge production. So I got to see things from the A level from the beginning, which was just a blessing to be part of that.
Definitely. I mean, it's definitely a baptism, by fire, right? Working with, the
Mhm.
especially this season, right? I mean, there were so many added cast, right? You have Armand Asante, you had Vincent Pastore, Chaz Palminteri. Also,
Yep.
too, I from seeing the trailer of Capo Rise to Power, someone who we've interviewed a few times as well, G-Rod, who was in season 2, Gabriel Rodriguez. I saw him in the
Yes.
trailer of Capo Rise to Power. So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely too. I mean, with working with all these, legendary actors, right? And again, getting this hands-on experience, did this sort of help traject getting you to start Capo Rise to Power, or was it already sort of in the works while you were working on this film or this series? I mean,
No, I was already writing it. I had seeds planted. This was just great exposure now, and just seeing, working with like when I was working with G-Rod on Capo, guy's an absolute beast,
yeah, he
and
is.
the stunts that this guy can do, and he can act too, man. So it
Hmm.
was a really awesome working with him and being subject to all the talent that was on the Gravesend set was phenomenal, and the work ethic that you see. Like for instance, one of the co-stars on the show, Chris Mormando. This guy, he he is so talented and he will outwork anybody. He knows everyone's part, spots, positions, lines. You're talking about motivation factor looking at that guy. He was one of the big reasons he gave me a good spark. I was like, I want to be like this guy. This guy just knows it all and does it all. So being part of that entire A-list dynamic was phenomenal. I had a month of it. So it was really good.
Amazing. No, definitely, definitely, and yeah, just also with regards to Girard as well. We first interviewed him about 3 years ago when we saw him in the Cobra Kai series,
Yeah.
and since then I was like, man, you're literally in everything. Everything that I see popped up in Stranger Things. He's about to be in Bad Boys 4. You know what I mean? He's in all these shows. So to see him in your show, Cap Rise to Power is no surprise, and he's a big fan of the mob genre. We actually we spend more time talking about other shows than shows that he's on. Like we talk about Sopranos, we talk about all these different type of movies and actors that we love to see in future movies. So I'm excited to see his role in your show as well too, and then also as well too. For you getting that experience of working with all these legendary actors. I'm excited to see this come to fruition with future projects for you as well.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. It's a great exposure, great knowledge. It's really these last 4 years have been fantastic. and Capo's gonna surprise a lot of people. We're at Cannes right now. The show is at Cannes in France, so we're represented by Adler Films, and it's getting some great responses. So and that just shows you the quality of the TV series.
I'd love to hear how you're able to get Capo Rise to Power to fruition. I believe you also had a co-writer as well too, right? In Lou Silver.
Yes, Lou Silver, fantastic, great actor,
Yeah.
phenomenal writer. I hooked up with Lou in the inception, like the infant stages of writing Capo, and because I already had some stuff written, he jumped in and really helped catapult to the next level. You know, Lou's been in the industry a long time. He just started acting kind of recently, like myself, but he was extremely close with the late Frank Vincent. They were
Yeah.
like best friends.
Yeah.
So he knows of this industry firsthand from The Sopranos and everything that was Frank was in. He would be on the set with Frank all the time.
Hmm.
So we
Hmm.
had a really good. He really just educated me on a lot of stuff from the writing perspective, and yeah, great guy, great actor, great writer. Plays a great character in the TV series too.
He's got some really from seeing the trailer, I mean, he's got some really intense scenes and just to sort of set the tone for fans as well that want to obviously get a better sense as far as Capo Rise to Power. This is different from the traditional mob or crime series that we've seen in the past, right? It does have those layers of say the Sopranos in there too, but are there some supernatural elements to this? Are you able to share sort of what fans can expect?
Yeah, and it's a great question, and you're absolutely right. We didn't want to do the quintessential mafia movie because of the fact a lot of the mafia is the color of the show. The premise is really a generational curse on an Italian mafia family. Now, a lot of the stuff they'll see throughout the show, some of it's my childhood. A lot of flashback scenes to the 80s. We have the New York Islanders in our TV series. The Islanders allowed us to do that. Awesome. I'm a diehard Island fan, so it works out. So what we can expect is a like Sopranos meets Stranger Things type of TV series.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And we wanted to reach out to multiple genres that way and multiple generations. And they're going to really buy in and really like it. So there's a lot of supernatural stuff that goes on.
Definitely. And exciting to hear, obviously, right? We're tapping into the supernatural because even, for me, one of the parts or one of the elements of The Sopranos that I really liked is that we would get these dream sequences. We would get some, things that were just a little bit different, where we're trying to test the 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 stretches of reality, right? So I actually
Right.
like those types of, and because it just kind of gets you to think out of the box, what's real, what's not real. So I was excited to sort of see that in the trailer as well too. What inspired you to sort of, test the wheels? Was it just purely wanting to be different, or was there a vision that you had where you wanted to sort of, test those types of elements?
Yeah, it was a good mixture of both because, like I indicated, we didn't want to do the quintessential mafia movie. It's been done
Yeah,
too many times, and we're big fans of those, and they're great.
yeah,
But if we looked at it and said, what is believable in the Italian genre? There's so many. If you go back to the old world country, they believed in Stregoria, these
mm-hmm,
Italian witches.
mm-hmm.
So we felt that bringing that element in, the supernatural of these Strega witches and these powers, it would go hand in hand with Italian mafia. And no one's ever done it before. It's kind of like a pioneer moment. It felt right. It made total sense because it goes along with that heritage.
Definitely. And as far as some of the because again, this is one of your the show that obviously you're starring in. Was there any sense as far as to where you felt like, that like what preparation did you have to do, for this? Was there anything to where you felt like, man, like this is testing sort of my abilities, or did you feel confident the entire way?
Well, it's a great question. And what we did was this. Lou Silva and I got in touch with an actual real Strega witch.
Oh wow.
Yes. So she's our consultant on the show. Her name is Chrissy Lewis. She's out in San Francisco.
Oh,
She has her
close.
yeah, she has her own witchcraft shop and all.
Wow.
She educated us, sent us a book, and we like dug deep because we wanted it to be authentic. Although it's, you know, although it's kind of, we're dealing with sci-fi and all that other stuff, it
Yeah.
is it's something that is, it's authentic and was something we can go by. And she consulted us in the whole process of Stregoria, symbols, curses, spells, stuff that they did back in the day in old world Italy. The people would go to a Strega witch and ask for their crops to be blessed.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
You know, yeah, it was kind of this underground rivalry to Cathology. And so, yeah, it's going to make a lot of sense. People, when they see the story, they're going to see how this generational curse and this spiritual warfare is really going on throughout the show.
I'm really excited as well too. And then this set to air? I know you mentioned it's at Cannes.
Right.
Is this going to be on Amazon Prime, or where can fans watch the show?
So, anywhere between 4th of July through Labor Day, Amazon gives you that window.
Hmm.
It's things of different. You used to be able to get things on it's Amazon a little bit quickly.
Yeah.
Now, things are handled a little bit differently. So that's the window of when it's going to be released on there, and then it's going to also followed on Tubi as well.
Awesome, awesome too. I mean, it's me personally, I love when we have shows pop in the summer, just because it's nothing better than just, ending the night, warm night, got some popcorn, get to binge watch a show. So when I heard it was a summer release, I was pretty because I've been following the show, wanting to obviously see this, come to fruition. So when I heard it was coming this summer, I was pretty excited.
Awesome, man. Well, we greatly appreciate that, and we're excited. We haven't even released an episode. We have 60,000 followers on social media collectively, and everyone's just eager to see it. We're already in pre-production for season two, so yeah, we have a lot of good stuff ahead.
Awesome, awesome. So we're definitely going to save some room for round two.
Yeah,
Obviously, once the show gets released, it's always fun to kind of talk, and maybe we can do something maybe mid-season, and then once there's a finale, we can obviously share as well. Actually, are these going to be all aired at once, or will it be a week?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah, yep, yeah. It's
perfect.
gonna all come out at one time. Our fans have waited long enough. We're not gonna
Yeah.
drag them down, so we're gonna get it out there. Yeah, everyone's eager to see it.
So definitely once it gets released and once the fans have had the chance to obviously watch every episode, always would love to talk more around obviously the full season, the finale, and then what's in store for round two. And we'll obviously share. I know a lot of fans have seen the trailer. Trailer's been released, but we'll also share it on our links as well too, so that fans can get access to it. And obviously once it gets released too.
That's awesome, man. We greatly appreciate that. We have a very, very talented cast. The cast really bought in, worked hard. And we have some kids, man. These kids can act. They're phenomenal actors and actresses, and the show it wouldn't be what it is without them.
I know you have a strong sports background, and obviously, if you didn't tell me that, I would be able to tell from your background as well. But you got some intent. There's some intense fighting scenes that you have. I mean, do you bring a lot of your sports background into these scenes, or you got to, right?
Yeah, you have to. Well, the stunt coordinator with was Juan Bofil, and he works with G-Rod. And Juan is actually the stunt coordinator for all the Ironmans.
Wow.
So we had a top of the line training, and it was a lot of fun. Thank God I'm still athletic in my older age, so I'm able to do this stuff. But yeah, it definitely comes in handy, So I currently coach right now. Um, I'm a college coach for the University of Tampa. women's
Oh,
flag football. So I'm running with them and doing some stuff. So I stay kind of active.
that's awesome. That's awesome. No, we're excited to see obviously all your hard work come to fruition. Like I mentioned, I've been following this series for some time and wanting to see it finally. So excited that it's finally scheduled this summer. I always like to also ask, our guests, right? Because you guys are the ones that are working, right? You're producing
Yeah.
content. But when you guys are not working, or you specifically, what are some of the shows that you're binge watching? Or if
You
there
know,
are stuff.
I'm a creature of habit. I still watch Sopranos, Dexter, Entourage. Those shows are timeless for me. Um, I'm a big fan of some comedy too. I love Rules of Engagement. That's a great show that is kind of that went under the radar. So yeah, I mean, I say a lot of the old school stuff. And don't get me wrong, there's some great stuff out there. I'm a big fan of Cobra Kai. I was one town over from Ralph Macchio. Our daughters went to the same ballet school together. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, so big fan of that show. That show is just that's another timeless show for me as well.
Yeah, I actually just saw Ralph. I actually have his book right there.
Oh yeah,
We actually he had a when he was promoting the book, he came to Santa Cruz and he had a speaking engagement there, and you got a chance to obviously he talked for it was about an hour and a half, talking about his experience, obviously growing up, the first Karate Kid movie, the Cobra Kai series, and then promoting the book, and then afterwards there was a photo. I actually have it posted on my Instagram. And I told him, I said, "Hey man, we got to get you on the podcast sometime." So that's still a dream and a goal of mine. But yeah, I definitely love the Cobra Kai series. We actually our first interviews were from the Karate Kid and Cobra Kai cast, and then jumped into the Sopranos from there. That's Sopranos is my favorite TV show. I'm constantly rewatching it. Like right now, I'm back. I'm on season three right now, and there's
yeah,
always clips of the Sopranos playing on the background. While I'm working. It just keeps me sane. It just keeps me going, man. I always, while I'm watching something new, Sopranos is simultaneously being rewatched as well.
yeah. I'm the same exact way. I really am. There's so many like new great shows out there too, like Ozark and You. Those are really great shows. Matter of fact, the person that did the color grading for Ozark did the coloring grading for some of it for Capo as well.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, and it's almost a daily watch for me. It's my comfort zone. It really is.
Yeah, yeah, no, no, same here. I mean, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but just seeing Tony function just
Yeah,
daily, whether it's the eating, the going
yeah,
out, the beating somebody up, like sometimes
right.
it carries over into the real world. I have to
It
catch
does.
myself. And then you mentioned Dexter as well too.
Yeah,
What did you think of the latest season that came? I think it was almost 2 years ago now, or a year ago. What did you
yeah.
think of the new season that we actually interviewed a few guests from the Dexter show? But what were your thoughts on the last season?
Love it. I do. I just love the show in itself. Our Capo has a little bit of Dexter in it. I don't want to give it away, but there's a little bit of Dexter in it. I'm a big fan of that show. I think they did a great job. That and another one that's been off for a while that is just timeless for me is Breaking Bad.
We're in love with the same shows, man. I feel like we're related somehow.
We right?
And G-Rod was in the Better Call Saul
Yes.
series. He got killed by Mike in the desert.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Man, that guy's he's in everything, and he deserves to be. He's just phenomenal. He really is.
Yeah, I know there's some rumors. I don't know how true they are, but they're hopefully potentially gonna see if they can do like a Gus spinoff. Kind of like before, obviously we see him in Breaking Bad because he had a whole backstory and mystery that we didn't really know. In Chile, I think is where he was from.
Right.
So they're thinking of doing maybe a Gus spinoff, or even seeing, I think the Jesse story has probably been closed after the El Camino movie, but I mean that
Yeah.
franchise is so good. I hope we can get a little bit more.
I'm with you on it. I'd be all in on Gus's story. I'd be all in.
Hmm. Hmm.
No doubt. I just think that was so well written. The acting was phenomenal. And that is the one show that I often use as a comparison where you can hate every character and love the entire show.
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely. And I don't know if you have the same issue when pitching Breaking Bad to folks that for the few people that haven't seen it, a lot of folks can't get past the first season for some reason because it becomes for me great the second to third at last episode of season two, the show
Hmm.
becomes great. And I don't know if you knew this, but the first season, it's a little bit of a shorter season because there was a writer's strike. So it wasn't as full as it was or hit its stride until season two. And then for
Right.
me, once it gets to the end of season two, the show goes from being a good series to a great series. And it's just a ride roller coaster every season after that. And that's one of the challenges that I have for the folks that I was like, guys, just get to the second season. You're not
Yeah, I'll
going to
get to
regret
it.
it.
Won't regret it because you'll be hooked because you'll be watching El Camino and Better Call Saul.
And Better Call Saul, I mean, some people say it's better than
I
Breaking Bad.
know. Yep. Yeah. That is that someone can make a good argument with that, but I love them all. It's a great franchise. Truly, truly is.
Definitely, definitely. And I know you got, obviously you're busy right now with, obviously airing Capo Rise to Power, but are you able to share what are some of your upcoming projects or anything that you're working on in addition?
Well, honestly, I've been very fortunate. A lot of people have asked me to be involved in other shows. At this point, my focus is on season two of Capo. We're
Yep.
already there in pre-production because season one is more of a mini series. It's 4 eps, and season two is going to be 8 to 10. And just to give a little bit, this is the first time we're revealing this, so this is good for you, good for us. Season two is going to reflect back to the 1920s in Palermo. So we're going to have right now in season one, my main character, Michael Baresi. I have a lot of flashbacks to the 80s of my childhood, stuff that has scarred me and moved me into what exactly is going on today. Well, now we're going to take the generational curse into the 1920s.
Wow.
Yeah, so we'll be able to see 3 generations of this. It's truly fantastic. I'm really excited to share it with the world.
No, definitely. And that sounds really, really exciting as well. And again, even more of a reason for round two to talk, spoilers. So
Yeah.
if we're slated, to come out, sometime in July, we're gonna ask you to come back in probably August timeframe to talk about it. But that sounds really, really exciting. And I'm really looking forward to seeing it and obviously, sharing with the fans as well. But if you weren't excited before, you definitely got to be excited now.
Yeah, 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 and I appreciate that. And I'd love to come in afterwards and reflect back on any questions that the fans have, you might have about the show, answer any questions, and then maybe give some little spoilers for season two.
Definitely, definitely. And I also, I played football, was a wrestler as well. If you need an extra to get beaten up in Palermo, I'll be your guy.
You're my guy. Okay.
Thank,
That's
thank you,
great.
thank you so much for making the time to join today. Really excited to share with the fans and excited that we were able to finally get this set up. It was a blast. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for having me. I look forward to being back, my friend.
Thank you so much. We'll talk soon.
All right. Take care.
Take care.